Are you familiar with the order of archangels in heaven? If you are, then you must also be familiar with the most prominent of them all, Archangel Michael. Do you know his stories? Every story of Archangel Michael has lessons for you that will help you in your life journey. In this video, let us dive deep into the many myths and legends about heaven's strongest archangel, Michael. And by the end of this video, you'll find out how you can get closer to angels like him, as we offer you a special gift to help you grow in your connections to them. Michael is an angel whose imposing and radiant presence brings protection to humanity. Due to his strong appearance, he embodies his own phrase, which he delivers to humans on earth: "Be not afraid." As the highest angel in the order, Michael has had many feats in how he helped people. One of these is leading God's army of angels in defeating and placing Lucifer in exile from heaven. Still, his fight against evil has yet to end and is continuing to usher in peace for all living beings in the world. With that said, let's first find out everything there is to know about the legendary archangel Saint Michael. Who is Saint Michael? Archangel Michael, like many of his fellow angels in heaven, is an enigmatic presence to many people. Michael's name is derived from Hebrew, which translates in English to "who is as God." Like all the angels, Michael mainly resides in heaven and is known to be Satan's greatest rival. Saint Michael is known as the protector of heaven, which he defended in his battle against Lucifer and the angels who sided with evil. With his army of loyal angels at his side, Michael seized the victory and held down Lucifer's onslaught on heaven. As the head of the Archangel Order, Michael is in charge of providing security to all of God's followers. He is also in charge of delivering the souls of those who passed inside of heaven at the hour of death, and keeping Satan in his place. A lot of illustrations depicting Michael often show him wielding a spear, holding a banner, and wearing scales on his body to magnify his imposing figure. Of all the characters written and depicted in the Bible, Michael is perhaps considered to be the most mysterious of them all. But even with his prominence within the stories of the Holy Book, both Jews and Muslims acknowledge the presence and strength of this archangel. The Bible's depiction of Michael. Although Michael appears 6 times in the stories of the Bible, his appearances in these stories are often unnamed and ambiguous. His ambiguity in the Bible piqued the curiosity of the people regarding his identity, especially his brave and brilliant personality. Saint Michael in the Old Testament. One of the most prominent appearances of Archangel Michael is in the book of Daniel, chapter 10, verses 5 to 6 of the Old Testament, where he is also depicted ambiguously and unnamed. He is described to have a topaz body with a face that strikes a resemblance to lightning and burning eyes, while wearing linen with a gold belt fitted around his waist. Both his arms and legs shine from their bronze hue, and his tone is said to be at varying levels of tone. After meeting this mysterious figure, Michael revealed to Daniel what would happen to Israel after meeting him. Despite his strength, Michael said that the Prince of Persia had managed to slow down his fated encounter with Daniel for 21 days. While it's not specified whether the being in question is indeed Michael, it is easy to confirm that the creature in the story is sent by either him or God himself. Finally, also in the Old Testament, he appears in Daniel 12 verse 1, when Daniel is taught that Michael was appointed as the Savior of Israel. This verse emphasizes how important Michael's purpose is, and that Daniel and his followers' respect for the angel comes from the power that the angel holds. Despite his limited portrayal in the Old Testament, his later involvement in the New Testament stories gives much greater detail on who the archangel really is. New Testament version. According to the Bible, God made an archangel named Lucifer, whose superiority over others made him hopelessly egotistical. It wasn't long until Lucifer deluded himself into dominating the heavens, so he rallied other angels to his side in an attempt to overthrow God from his place. But Lucifer's efforts to confront God were unfortunate, as he had to first battle Archangel Michael himself to do so. According to Revelation 12, verses 7 to 8, a tremendous war broke out in heaven between angels siding with either Lucifer or Michael. Upon hearing of Michael's strength, Lucifer decided to turn into a dragon to go up against him. Still, it wasn't enough for him to win against the Archangel, as Michael humbled him with his fearlessness and power as a loyal servant to God. Story 1. Michael and Satan argue over Moses. The Book of Jude tells the story of Michael and Satan's argument over where Moses' body truly belongs. When Moses, as God's messenger, accumulated several followers during his time in Israel, Satan wanted his body to stay on earth to tempt people to believe in a different idol than the God above. Then Michael, however, responded in a truly Christian manner to protest Satan's ideas with the words, "The Lord rebukes you." To put Moses' body at peace and away from those who blindly follow him, Michael buried his body beside the Dead Sea as his way of showing his respect for God and his teachings. Thessalonians 4 verse 16 also makes reference to Michael as the angel who embodies the importance of the archangels to us. St. Paul tells in writing to Christians in Thessalonica that whenever the end draws near, his voice, which is used by God to send his message, will echo to proclaim the resurrection of the dead. Story 2. The Feast of St. Michael. Because of his fortitude and loyalty to God, St. Michael is the most beloved saint in the Catholic Church. The Catholic children recite Michael's prayer to ask for his protection and defense. To honor Archangel Michael, primarily his believers in the Catholic religion celebrate the Feast of St. Michael every 29th of September. This feast was originally held in conjunction with the commemoration of all angels back in the Middle Ages. Story 3. Saint Michael and the Hour of Death. Angels are said to visit everyone who passes away. Saint Michael, the Archangel, appears to souls who have yet to join with God immediately before death. Michael offers these souls their last chance to redeem their faith in the Lord as their gateway to heaven. At the hour of death, Saint Michael takes the souls of the dead and guides them away from Satan's attempts of temptation. Ever since Adam, the first human being, died, God has always designated Saint Michael to lead our souls to heaven. Story 4. Jerusalem's survival from the Assyrian Conquest. In one story of the second kings in the Bible, an archangel, thought to be Michael, visits Sennacherib's 185,000 armies who were plagued with a disease. This illness halted the Assyrian assault and pushed Sennacherib to abandon Jerusalem. Even Herodotus, who at first could not comprehend what happened, eventually accepted the occurrence. Story 5. Saint Michael and Joan of Arc. Joan of Arc, the greatest saint in history, was a French peasant girl who, through an angel's intervention, eventually rose to the ranks of a military captain. Many believe that the angel who guided Joan of Arc and the French forces to victory during the 100 Years' War with England was Michael himself. Joan was inspired by the Archangel to combat evil with good. Michael also prophesied that following Joan's numerous battles, French Dauphin Charles VII would become King of France, which, along with his other predictions, were fulfilled. Story 6. Saint Michael as depicted across the globe. God's single most powerful creation was Saint Michael. Even his virtuous existence is parallel to that of God. The words and actions of Saint Michael have always captivated humanity. Men usually shout out his name when they are in peril so that he will bring them to safety. Many claim to sense the Archangel's energy around them after calling out to him. Some even claim to have seen his presence or heard his voice talking to them. In the present, Saint Michael is considered by many as the patron saint of death, as well as other dangerous professions like firefighters, grocers, seafarers, paratroopers, cops, and military troops. Saint Michael has earned the respect of many cultures throughout the ages. His notoriety spans many generations, which makes him one of the oldest and most well-known angelic devotions in the world. Number 7. The Legend of Mont Saint-Michel. Saint Michael is based on the characteristics of the locals of France, particularly in Lower Normandy, which is known to be watched over by him. the natives of Lower Normandy have the firm knowledge to detail the events of the battle between the great saint and the devil. In their recollection of the story, Saint Michael and the devil once shared a residence. They had a disagreement one day over the boundaries of their powers, as Michael believed his god is the mightiest of them all, while Satan argued he was stronger. Because of that argument, the devil challenged Michael to summon God and build a castle, as he would build his own as well, to which the latter agreed. Satan called out his minions to collect massive granite boulders from all corners of the globe. Soon, they erected a massive granite mountain out from the sea. The saint endured fewer hardships. He built transparent walls and towers decorated with elegant ice crystal columns along the shore. The gleaming diamantine palace shined brighter than the dismal granite masses the devil created, making Satan envious of it. Jealous of the castle, Satan offered to swap castles with Michael, to which the latter concurred. When summer arrived, however, the devil's palace melted in the heat. Meanwhile, Saint Michael's court is still erected even to this day, which is now named Mont Saint-Michel. Story 8. Michael versus the Devil in Normandy. As his castle melted, Satan had to move to a small home on the hill with all the salt marshes, abandoned lands, and forested valleys, while Michael presided over the dunes. A few years passed, and the saint grew tired of the situation and began to consider making a deal with the devil. He proposed to have the land and cultivate it to the devil in exchange for dividing the crops harvested with him. Satan, however, made it difficult, as he greedily kept the crops to himself. To compromise, Michael asked the devil to choose which crops he wanted to have the most, either the one that grows above or under the earth's surface, and the devil chose the crops from above. After 6 months, the crops that grew in the devil's land were all root crops, which angered Satan. As the devil protested to rescind their agreement, Michael once again compromised and offered the produce of that year to him. The spring that followed had crops that grew under sunlight visible in the land, which once again angered Satan, as he would not have a single portion of the crops yet again. As anger welled up inside the devil, he was about to hit Michael when the angel countered with a kick that hurled him towards the rocks of Mont, where his prints can still be seen to this day. Number 9. Saint Michael's Mount. Saint Michael's Mount is legendary for its spiritual inclination and its legends and myths which date back as far as 495 AD and serve as an inspiration to his many believers. Legend has it that Saint Michael once showed himself on the island's western side, below where the castle's entrance is today, to protect fishermen from peril. Saint Michael's Mount legend has since added to the spiritual allure that has attracted pilgrims, monks, and simple folks to visit. Because of that, Michael was also proclaimed as the patron saint of fishermen quite quickly. People from all walks of life have been drawn to this castle on a little island to halt and meditate on the marvels of Saint Michael, whether it shelters spiritual forces or is simply a beautiful place for self-reflection. Many may deny the reality of this tale, but once you get on that island, it would be hard to argue how real the stories are because of the spiritual presence roaming around the place. Story 10. Saint Michael according to Folklores. Folktales also acknowledge and revere Saint Michael in their stories, as we often find him appearing in stories like Why the Sole of Man's Foot is Not Even. When the devils went up against God and escaped to earth, it was stated that they ran away with the sun with them. However, the world grumbled because the sun was destroying it, prompting Saint Michael to descend and retrieve the sun from them. To get the sun, Michael befriended the devil's leader, and they roamed until they came close to the ocean. After getting to the ocean, they started to bathe. Then the devil hurled his lance, which held the sun, onto the ground. The angel then challenged the devil to plunge with him to see who could go deeper between them under the ocean. Michael then went down and dragged sand up from the ocean floor with his teeth. By Satan's turn, he spat out a magpie and made it look over the sun until he surfaced from the ocean's depths. Saint Michael then prayed as soon as Satan vanished underneath. All of a sudden, the ocean floor was immediately blanketed with 9-cell-thick ice, which trapped the devil, making it easy for him to grab the sun and fly away. Meanwhile, the devil was called out by the magpie's screams, and he rushed to the surface to see the frozen ocean. He then scurried to the sea floor, picked up a stone, and used it to crack the ice. Saint Michael had already ascended to the heavens by the time the devil emerged from the ocean's surface to pursue the astute archangel. The devil grabbed his second foot and injured the angel with his claws. Michael, who was heard by the devil, presented the son before God. "See, O Lord, how disfigured I am," he said, mourning. God then reassured the angel to not grieve, as he declared that men have uneven souls like Michael and will continue to for eternity. Story 11. Saint Michael came from a cosmic event. There are also other stories detailing the origins of Michael, where God dispatched him into the heavens to find a name for a man. Michael, along with other archangels, declared man's first earthly name, Adam, with sublime spirit power. What do you think of these stories? Hopefully, these stories inspire you and help you learn more about Archangel Michael's greatness, and you feel even more connected to him after this video. But don't go yet. Here is the free gift that we've promised. Click on this link here to get access to our Celestial Connections course, which will help you to connect with Archangel Michael and your other guardian angels deeply, so you will receive their bountiful blessings in your life. Get access now so you don't miss out on their important messages. Your angels are waiting for you.